Welcome to the Inner Athlete Podcast, where we discuss all things youth athlete development and youth mentoring.
Let's move on to the third one. So number 3, girls get bulky. Massive one. I don't know, it's been around, but I think it's changing though. I think the tide is changing. There's a lot more girls now. Teenagers, young females that want to have those big glutes, big legs, or stuff like that as well. But then there's some people that just like, I don't want to get bulky. I want to stay feminine and all that. That's totally cool. But but they think as soon as they lift the weight, they shoot, and they're just like put on like 10 kilos of muscle. Like, well, the hell no. So let's go a little bit more into that.
Well, like you said, yeah, I think it's really good to see that a lot of young girls are seeing the benefit and really appreciating the health and fitness and priding your body, not only how you may physically look, but I think the way they feel inside. Doing a workout really makes you feel good, and then also if you take sport quite seriously, you can see. I feel that young athletes are seeing those benefits. But yeah, in terms of the building muscle and getting bulky, like I think it's quite sad that some girls might be deterred from strength training and getting healthy because of that fact. But unfortunately, well, it isn't a fact.
They're going to look like a man or something like that.
A man or something like that, which is not true. Two ways to look at it is that, the first one is that, females biologically don't have enough testosterone and other hormones that males have a lot of, that really is essentially why we can build muscle and boys can build muscle quicker. It's just that we've got a different makeup. But what's really nice about strength training for females and for young girls is that you get all the benefits of strength training, where you're not going to get big and bulky and heavier or anything like that. You're just going to get stronger. You're going to get fitter. You're going to get you're going to improve your bone mineral density. So your strength of the bones will improve. So yeah, that's.
So let's look at the other end. I was just thinking about this before. So if girls are going to get bulky, what's kind of like the magical formula for that?
If they want to.
No, say if they do. Like, I was thinking about this before. Yeah. It's kind of like, they eat in a caloric surplus, train 3-4 times a week. Of course you're going to get bulky. You're going to blow up. You're eating more calories than the body requires to maintain its current body weight.
100%.
Then you're trying to build tissue upon tissue, and then you're going to put your body in a state where it's going to build more muscle mass. You're going to probably retain some more fat as well. So you're going to start become a lot more bulky as well. So that's kind of like, that's kind of the way our physiology works. You eat more calories than your body can utilize. Number one, then you got the strength training on top of that as well. So you're basically trying to build more muscle tissue, but then because you're consuming excess calories as well, so you're probably going to gain some body fat as well along the process, and then you're going to look bulky. So that's kind of what's really going to happen. And like I said before, it always comes back down to like, if the female touches the weight, sneezes, poof, 10 kilos right there, presto right there. It won't happen. Physiologically it won't happen. It's usually in excess of calories and the resistance to training on top. So if you've got your diet under control, maintaining your body weight, and you're doing strength training, you're probably going to see a shift in your body composition as well. So where you gain some muscle mass, drop some body fat. And we've seen that with like some of the girls here as well, like with some of the higher level swimmers, like they're eating more, they're training hard, and they're dropping like body fat. So, and the good thing is though, their performance is still good. When they got sick, they actually recovered a lot faster as a result. So there were so many upsides to kind of like not just blame. That's down another rabbit hole itself. But like they were gaining muscle mass, they were getting stronger and whatnot. But then we just saw like just positive changes in their performance as a result. So I think we need to kind of like, it's not so much about getting bulky. It's like, is getting like putting on muscle mass going to positively help you in order to perform your job in your sport?
For sure.
And 9 times out of 10, if we look at the performance aspect, most people don't even bother about, oh yeah, I get some muscle mass, great. Look, I look pretty good, sweet. And it's just kind of like, it's supplementary to the main goal, which is, improving your times or getting selected or just being more less injury prone, essentially, which is improving overall performance. So if you focus on that side, you kind of like, you're not too worried about getting bulky at the end of the day.
For sure.
So shifting focus.
Definitely. I think girls that want to get, maybe a bit too focused on their looks, it can get, as we know, mental health issues and, things like, getting too caught up in social media and TikTok, Instagram, all of that. I think that's been a massive kind of issue within our kind of social environment at the moment. So, I think it's really good that, your fitness professionals and things are promoting health and fitness, and they might be using their looks as a way to get you into fitness. But I think we need to change the kind of language around, why health, strength training, putting your health first is really important over the way you look, because the way you look can change every day, whether you wake up, tired or whatever it is, like bloated, depending on what you ate, all of that. So I don't think that should be something that we as people should aspire of. How do we look in the mirror? We should be looking at how do we feel on a daily basis? How do we
function? How do we perform?
Correct. So if you're an athlete, you're probably going to be focused more on how you perform anyway. But if you're a girl that just wants to, be healthy and fit, well, why do you want to be healthy and fit? It's because it makes you feel good. Being sluggish, unhealthy, eating ice cream, donuts, it's going to make you feel crappy, right? You're not going to feel good. But when you're eating healthy, you're exercising, okay, you're going to feel good and you're going to perform better, whether it's in your school, whether it's in a job that you've got, or really anything in general. You're going to feel better, you're going to perform better, and really inherently you're just going to end up probably looking better too, because you're feeling better about yourself, your self-esteem is there, and I think that's a better way of looking into the benefits of fitness and getting into this kind of healthy environment, is that it's all about, improving your inner self, and not always just about your looks.
You're seeking, I guess you're shifting the focus from Stefan, who's one of our smart members here. He's in the world of like psychology and all that jazz. He actually mentions like the external and internal locus of control. So like shifting from an external, seeking validation from your environment,
Correct.
which is from other people, the way from your friends, whatever it may be, and shifting into more an internal world. And so
Sure.
how you perform, how you feel, how you function, are your grades good, is your relationships good, are you sleeping well, are you eating well, is everything just like on par, are you able to cope with stresses really well? I think that's kind of like where we need to kind of shift the focus from the external world and seeking social validation, whether it's likes, clout, all that jazz, for whatever. It may be, seeking validation for a particular reason, but if we continue down that route, you're always seeking validation from others rather than actually seeking validation from yourself and being able to be attractive to whatever, to everything outside that comes towards you for the right reasons, rather than try and force the world to feel like you're trying to catch that. That was a bit backwards what I said, but hopefully that makes sense.
No, it does. I think on a personal note, I was like that when I was, on the social media, on Instagram, all of that. I'm looking at, bodybuilders and those guys that bigger muscles than me and stuff, and you're trying to chase that because that's kind of what is out there. And I think you kind of get lost about trying to do things that make you happy, not what trying to seek validation from other people. And I think for me personally, I actually moved away from social media and not on it anymore. So and now I feel much happier. I feel like when I'm training, I'm doing it for me and not doing it for anyone else. I don't need to check in on Facebook, or I don't have to take a story photo to go, hey, I'm doing a workout.
Swolfie.
Yeah. So selfies and all of that. I think now that I've come away from all of that, I'm really just exercising for my own mental health, my own, to feel good. And look, if I look at, I'm sure everyone still looks themselves in the mirror, but I think if you're really having that lens of, you know what, if this is making me feel good, I'm performing in my job, in my sport, or whatever it is, I think you're just going to have a better outlook. But that's going a bit too far from where we're going. But I just thought I'd note that.
Yeah, this one, this third myth kind of got away from us. All right, let's bring it home. Last one. Keep it nice and short and sharp. All right, strength training slows you down. Yes, no.
No.
Bye. That's it.
Doesn't
See you
slow
later.
you down. Doesn't slow you down. I think at the start, or people who look at strength training, it looks slow, looks controlled, but actually those movements, and we actually really endorse our young athletes coming through to train slowly. And the reason for that is to improve their ability to coordinate their limbs, their balance, okay? If their limbs are, where they're running, sprinting, all of that, if they're not moving effectively, then they're not going to be fast and efficient. So if we can slow them down, really teach the athlete how to move the body correctly
In a controlled fashion,
it's going to positively impact and affect, their athletic movements and sport movements, whatever that is.
Yeah, what I like to say is, like, if they slow down, like, I like to see smooth movements. So I'm not telling them to go slow, essentially. I just want to see smooth. Like, are we working in a controlled fashion? Are the main prime movers of the movement, are they working? Or are we seeing compensation strategies? So say, for example, we're doing like a seated row and the lats and the rhomboids and the rear delts, are they doing their job? So most of the times, kids will try and do it fast in order just to get the reps out and get done. The problem is, though, they're probably just utilizing the biceps and forearms way too much, and we're missing out on using larger muscles to produce more, or to help them develop more force. So therefore, if we're developing more force, we can develop more tension, which increases the strength, which increases the hypertrophic potential. Improves the coordination, which is going to have eventually a carryover into the actual sport, depending on what it is. So, say if you want a stronger back, for grappling sports, that's really important. Might be really important for rowing, for rowers, kayakers, surf lifesavers. You name it. Any swimmers, also. And I think that's what kind of gets missed in regards to that. I think the tide is changing. It's good to see that a lot of high schools are adapting programs to improve sporting performance, whether it's utilizing the gym that they have or bringing a third party or something like that in order to drive the program and improve the performance of these athletes, even though it is a slow and controlled fashion. Like, we see I'm on Instagram, so I'm connected with the world to some degree. Jake Tura, he's a strength coach over in the US. He promotes, a lot of isometric movements, strengthening, joint specific ranges, especially with a split squat or wall sit hold or something like that. And even that in itself, and doing whether it's yielding, where you're just holding it for time, or overcoming, which is more, producing as much force at a specific joint position. They're not actually moving, the holding position, and it improves performance.
It does, yeah.
Because we're improving the intermuscular, so the coordination within the actual muscle. But inter means other muscles. Intra means within the muscles, so the coordination within the muscles. And then we're increasing the coordination of all the other muscles as well. So whether it's the synergistic and supporting, antagonists, agonists, the prime movers, whatever it may be, then because of strength training, it's called neuromuscular for a reason, because it's neural first and it's muscular after, because the brain controls and governs movement essentially. So if we can train the body to be in better positions and load those positions up over time, we're going to be able to have a greater ability to express force into the ground, or be able to produce more power, or whatever it may be, even if we're moving really slow or lightweights for the first time. And the unfortunate thing is, most people don't understand that running and cycling, because of the locomotive and lack of eccentric component to those movements, as we discussed before, they actually make you less coordinated over time. What strength training does, it makes you more coordinated over time. So you need that balance between the two. So that's why we've seen a lot of our kids, when it comes to their running performance, like we include running drills in a lot of the warm-ups, is that we're starting to see some real positive changes in their running mechanics. So that they're able to move better, more efficiently, spend less energy, but being able to run almost at the same speed, if not a little bit faster. And that from us is faster with less energy, which means they're going to be able to perform longer with less fatigue. So there's just so much of it's just like, yeah, if you solve one thing, getting them stronger, moving better, and just being able to function a lot more, then they're going to be able to be better athletes at the end of the day.
100%. I think strength training, or just having a really good, strong foundation of strength governs all our, I guess, athletic abilities. So having a good strength foundation will really be beneficial to every athletic, whether it's jumping, sprinting, all that sort of thing. So if you've got good movement, good control, good balance, and a good, base of strength within the muscle, the bones, and all of that works together to ensure that your dynamic, explosive type movements are much more effective and efficient.
Yeah, I think, I got nothing else to say on that one, do you? No. Okay, cool. We're going to wrap that up. It's a bit of a long one, so we might actually cut this into 2 parts. So we might go part 1 and part 2 of the podcast. Other than that, the 4 myths. Strength training stunts growth. No, it doesn't. Lack of nutrition does. That's the biggest key part. If you overtrain, potentially, it can cause issues in terms of growth and the growth development, but most kids don't even train enough in order to constitute that, and I guess COVID has just proven that, literally. Number 1. Number 2, sports causes injury, not strength training. As I said before, the injury rate in sport is far higher than it is in the gym. But like I said before, there's 3 key factors that potentially increase the risk of injury within the gym. So unfortunately, there's no such thing as a zero risk activity in this world. There's always some level of risk of injury, no matter what we do. That's why HR departments exist. And HR and OHS exist. Number 3, girls get bulky. Look, excess calories, a lot of training, then potentially, yes, they will. But look, if we focus on the performance side, 9 times out of 10, that kind of keeps that down, and they're not going to feel bulky or anything like that as well. But you also got to ask, where are we seeing, or I guess, where are they getting these beliefs from specifically? And I'll probably start from there and then go forward. 9 times out of 10 usually comes from their friends or their social network, essentially. But also, I'd say probably from the mass media as well, just from mainstream media, would be
Hollywood.
Yeah, Hollywood's kind of changing now. It used to be like that, but I think it's slowly changing.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't watch many movies these days. I like old school movies. Adam Sandler, he's a G. Then the last one is strength training slows you down. We have never ever seen evidence of that. Specifically, as if you go elite, like if you're talking like 7 to 10 years at the elite level, potentially training programs that aren't specifically designed properly can actually slow the athletes down. But this is like, you're looking at like Olympians at this point, who've been in the system for like 7 to 10 years at least, and potentially their training program could hold them back, but not. Look. It has happened at the collegiate level. I've seen stories of collegiate footballers have actually seen a reverse in their performance as well. But a appropriately structured program depending on their training age. So if they're quite young, look, the window of adaptability is quite big. So you can kind of give them whatever you really feel like, and they'll be able to adapt quite well to that. So we're going to wrap that up. Bit of a long one. We're going to cut this into 2 parts, and we'll talk to you on the other side.
Thanks, guys.
You have just listened to the Inner Athlete podcast. Be sure to subscribe to stay up to date with the release of weekly episodes. Be sure to follow us on Facebook and Instagram to get great tips on all things youth athlete development and youth mentoring.